talk about what is happening with global airline travel. If you've tried to travel lately, you have probably experienced flight delays and disruptions, and at its very severe cases, even cancellations. And I'm afraid it's bad news. Hearing reports it's going to be like this for at least the next 18 months. Well, that's according at least to the CEO of Europe's busiest airport. Arguably, it's Heathrow. So let's speak to tourism analyst Gillian Saunders. Hi, Gillian. Good to have you back on eNCA. Always enjoy talking to you. It's a bit of an irony, isn't it? Off the back of COVID-19, we all were told we need to go travel if we have the opportunity, get back out there, go and explore the world. But it seems too many people are doing it at once. Why is it happening? Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth, and great to be on the show with you again. I think the issue is lots of pent-up demand, probably at levels that were unexpected, and it's coming through faster in terms of the growth in the tourism and the recovery of tourism, and a whole bunch of factors, particularly overseas, related to staffing levels, related to re-employing people. There's an employment, unlike us with high levels of unemployment in the Europe and the US and the UK as well, there's virtually no unemployment. And people who left the industry because of the problems in 2020 and 2021 are reluctant to come back to the industry. So the airports and the airlines are actually struggling to employ enough people, particularly the airports. So yes, but I think we do need to put it in context. And I know it's not nice when it happens to anybody. Is the cancellations, there's an analysis just done recently of the first 2 weeks of July. And overall, cancellations in the UK were 3.2% of flights. I know for the people on those flights, that's horrific. Germany, unfortunately, which is a big market of ours, was at 6% of flights were cancelled. But it does mean, and other countries, by the way, like Greece, Spain, Portugal, were only about 1% of flights cancelled. So on average, about 97% of flights are flying. So that's the first thing, 3% cancelled. Lots of people on those cancelled flights managed to get onto other flights. You know, I've had people I know traveling around Europe who've managed to get onto another flight 2-3 days later. Sometimes they don't. How many of those are coming to South Africa, which is sort of what concerns us in a way most? It's unclear, and so I can't really say that. Yeah. But what I do think is still an issue is, and it may take, he's saying, I think the CEO of Heathrow, they'll take 15 months to get back to normal. And so we will have elements of this. But in these peak periods, like this is holiday periods overseas, it's the summer holiday period, it's really bad. In South Africa, our peak period for people coming here is their winter holidays when the demand isn't as bad or isn't as high. So I'm hoping, or we're hoping, that some of this will have eased and our top peak overseas arrival season won't be as impacted as currently outbound flights are in these countries.
Yeah, because also we've got December coming up as well, which we all know the Northern Hemisphere likes to come here, escape their cold and come here to our warmer climates as well. So that could be a bit of an issue, because I see the knock-on effect, Gillian, as well, is not just the airlines itself, but I did an interview the other day regarding visas, and it's exactly to your point. The unstaffing, I think is the politically correct term during COVID-19, has resulted in a delay of visas as well. So the entire tourism sector, it's not a case of recovering as a result of COVID-19. It's going to take almost as long to recover from COVID-19 as the pandemic itself.
Well, I think you're right. But I mean, in terms of our recovery, and I'm going to talk predominantly South Africa here, we're actually very encouraged by the speed of the recovery. It's better than we anticipated, so, let's say. So we actually have, in June this year, our main airport arrivals were 58.6% of 2019 levels. So this is the latest data we have from our airports. And actually, it is a little bit down from May. I don't know whether we can put that down to the chaos overseas or not in terms of people coming here, but May was 63% of 2019 levels. But June and May are actually our lowest overseas arrival months of the year. So that's one of the things that sort of like mitigates this somewhat. It's not the highest arrival month, so we're seeing some trauma potentially in June, although I can't tell for sure, but it's a low arrivals month overall. But if we don't look at just international airport arrivals. If we look at the hotel industry, the hotel industry is running at 84.5% of 2019 levels. And you know, I was talking to a hotelier just the other day, and he says hospitality is flying. And on top of that, the average daily rate in hotels is over 100% of 2019 levels, which is good. It's not good enough because we have had inflation for 3 years that we should see in those hotel rates as well. But you know what? It's actually not bad. And rooms available is nearly 95% of 2019 levels, because we know some hotels haven't reopened. Some are going to reopen shortly. So actually, on the ground here in South Africa, we're looking pretty good. Heathrow, by the way, is projecting that for the whole of 2022, they will be at about 67.5% of what they were in 2018. I couldn't get 2019 numbers. Whereas we're already sort of touching over 60%. Cape Town has been at over 72% of international arrivals this year, and that was actually also in I think that was April. And they've tailed off a little bit, like everywhere else, but less so in June, actually. The Cape Town arrivals held up in June as a percentage of 2019.
Yeah, so the hold-ups are actually looking very good for the local tourism sector as well. And let me try and find a positive spin here off the back of this, Gillian, before I say goodbye to you. Last question. As a tourism analyst, how do we capitalize on this as a country? Because we know the bubble of delays, as the CEO of Heathrow says, 12 to 18 months. It will eventually come to an end. Are we ready as tourism in South Africa for that big onslaught of tourists coming here? Can we capitalize? Can we get ourselves ready while there's a bit of a delay with the flights? I mean, how ready are we for that? What should we be doing?
Well, I think we're getting ready. And in fact, we are ready. The industry is ready. The industry is welcoming lots of tourists, both domestic and international already. As I said, we're at 60 to 70% in some instances of our international arrivals from 2019, which is pretty good. But what we're working on, so for instance, yesterday, the industry, the private sector launched a campaign exactly to combat these. So I think the issue now is the queues and the delays and your luggage. It's not that you won't get a flight, although occasionally you don't get a flight. So those things make it a hassle factor. What we're saying is, once you've got through that hassle, we are the most amazing destination. We don't have the hassles. We are outdoors. We are spacious. We don't have crowds. This is the place to come. You know, we have the product that post-COVID and all the trends that we see is the best product. In fact, some luxury travel analyses have said that the luxury travel industry is burgeoning faster than the ordinary travel industry. People have got lots of savings because they couldn't spend their money for a couple of years. What do they want to do with it? They want to have a bucket list experience. They want to see their family and friends again. And that is showing really strongly in the arrivals in this country. And the forward bookings are looking good in the industry. So we're ready and we're waiting.
I'm glad those forward bookings are going to be put into place as well. We've got about 12, 18 months. We're looking good now already, as you say, Gillian. Hope we can capitalize on that. Appreciate all the data. Appreciate all the numbers. Gillian, always good to talk to you, making such sense for us. Gillian Saunders, tourism analyst.